Hey, hey, it's Let's Go Live Show. I'm a minute early. I'm getting good at this. I'm figuring out how much feed you need to go from British Columbia down to LA and back. It's a couple of minutes, so we've got a delay from what you see versus what I'm telling you, but that's okay. You still get it. So let's get started, and hello. Let's get me on. Welcome. I'm Jane-Gardner, and welcome to the Let's Go Live Show. It's every Wednesday at 8 a.m. here, wherever you might be. Oh, and you know what? We're going to do a little quick seminar on turning your lights on. So, I forgot to turn my lights on. So this isn't bad. This is fluorescent lights in the back. You can still see me. There's a bit of a shadow, but we're going to put the lights on. So to do that, we are going to have some privacy while I go up and I reach for the lights and turn them on. So let's go back and do our intro. And of course, you can hear my chair as it moves. You can hear maybe the lights clicking on. You can hear my voice moving around. But that's what it is when it's live. It's a very noisy chair. But you may or may not hear it, so that's good. Hello. Welcome. This is the Let's Go Live Show. And today, Wednesday, we are going to be talking about microphones again. Because microphones are the most important part of your business when it comes to connecting with others. Your sound, critical. Whereas, as you saw before, I had my lights off. Now I have my lights on. Did it make any difference as to what I was speaking about? No. So we're going to get started and we're going to do the presentation. And I may or may not come back at the end. I'm not sure. There's nothing much. I'm not going to show you my microphone again because it always changes the sound. So we're going to get started on our presentation. Then later we'll have questions. So let's go. So yeah, show yourself and get connected to your audience. Who am I? I'm Jane-Gardner and I work with my husband at a structural engineering firm. And after this, I'm going off to work right here in my home office with him. And we like our pets, we like to travel, we like to, I'm an artist, and I like to make websites. As you can see, I have several, and we live in Western Canada. So that's my bio. Very quick, very not interesting. So there you go. And then here's my 2018, got interested in streaming TV opportunity for on the internet to get a TV channel actually up on well, that's a story for another time, onto Roku and Amazon Fire. At that time it was a bit more primitive, and now it's a lot easier to do. But I have 4 TV channels on the Business of Home-Based Business, Home-Based Startup TV, Business Success TV, Finding Your Purpose TV. If you're in Roku, the easiest way to find them is just to do Home Biz Startup and in a search, and or I should have a page on my site so that you can just go and click on the link and install it so that you can watch it on your Roku or your Amazon TV. Can you imagine having your own show on TV? Awesome. People can just watch you. And you can actually do it live as well. Let's not start talking about TV channel system. But I did develop an ultimate TV channel system to get you from invisible to having your own TV reaching the whole world, basically, with streaming TV nowadays. And yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So I realized that I needed to get more people out there doing their own show, and so that's why we're doing Let's Go Live show. We've already talked about why you need to go live. We talked about mindset and how it can prevent you from being on camera Right now we're doing the studio setup, and as you can imagine, I've done 4 shows on microphones, so it can be pretty intense talking about the various things you need to do, although there is just a minimum studio setup. And I have a book later you can get which will tell you the minimum you need. And then we'll talk about video off camera, video on camera, some of the software, how to use the software, and do some demos. And then we're going to talk about the free platforms to go live, which a lot of people know about already. Facebook Live, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, which I'm doing now. Hello, LinkedIn. And of course, mobile, which can get you onto all of those free platforms, as well as get you out if people can find your phone, I guess. But there are actually apps for that. And then we're going to talk about free broadcasting software like OBS, which is Open Broadcast Source software to broadcast, and mobile, of course, is also free to broadcast if you're using your apps. And then we're going to talk about paid broadcasting software. Zoom, I think there's a free version, of course, of Zoom. And then XSplit. XSplit did have a free version, but then it developed into such a powerful program that they charge, but it's quite a reasonable charge, as well as StreamYard and Ycast and all these other ways that you can broadcast to Facebook, etc. And then we're going to talk about multi-stream broadcasting software, like the one I'm using now to broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch. I always forget that one. Twitter, it doesn't seem to be working at the moment, so an X or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to interview entrepreneurs with a show. We're going to interview people who get on camera on a regular basis and talk to people or talk to you. Interview with some software companies. Better get those letters together to ask them to do that. And we're going to do a Let's Go Live Challenge Quarterly, which is coming up. I have to set a date. That's always the hard part. And then interview with new entrepreneurs having success with their show once they've done the challenge. And we're going to probably interview them as to what it was like, etc. So we have quite a variety of things to do for the show. And we have talked already about why you need to go live to be seen as an authority in your niche. You need to be consistent so they get in the habit of seeing you. And you need to be answering questions, sharing your message, and sharing your knowledge and getting people to know, like, and trust you. So, of course, you also need, we talked about how your mindset can stop you from being seen, how having a dedicated studio space makes it easier to broadcast, how to look at your ambient light. We looked at ambient sound values and how to control the acoustics of your studio space. And right now we're talking about microphones. We've talked about microphones. Hold on, we'll do that in a minute. We'll tell you what we talked about. But basically, clear, crisp audio makes it easier for a listener to understand what is being said. And remember that a considerable part of video content is consumed with headphones, so clear sound is crucial. There's nothing more annoying than poor quality sound being shouted directly to your brain. So we had a look at the variety of microphones that you could use to do a broadcast. And we also had some details on a stereo microphones, like the Blue Yeti, Blue Snowball, and the Audio Technica, versus using your headphones only. And then last time we had a look at the lavalier microphone, when there's a set there over to do interviews in the case, and also some of the setup you need. So we're going to talk today about your studio audio, but we're also going to talk about the Blue Yeti. So we have been we looked at the lavalier, which is a good one for doing sound broadcast when you're interviewing or if you want to move around, that kind of thing. And we have looked at our stream failed to start on X. Well, nothing much does happen on X, so we'll just leave that one. So today we're going to use the Blue Yeti microphone as an example of a stereo microphone. And I'm going to use pictures because I don't want to move around my microphone and make the sound change. So it's a stereo condenser microphone, so it's great to use for, because it has a USB, so you can plug it into your computer easily or your laptop or whatever, as long as you have a USB connection. So we're going to have a look at the front of the Blue Yeti. So I think this is the front of the Blue Yeti. Yeah, this one. Mine had, well, I guess, yeah, mine has a different. It's the thing with Yetis is they change so quickly that the pictures can change and whatever. But we're going to look at the principles of the Blue Yeti. And one other thing that we'll need in order to do this is Audacity. So if you don't have Audacity, we'll be looking at Audacity and how to manipulate your sound recordings, your audio, in a future episode. But it's a free and open source digital audio editor, and if you don't have it, you should go and download it. I think it's audacity.com. I'm not sure if it's audacity.org because it is free. But you can do your recordings. If you're not happy with them, then you can change them. You can remove some of the noise in the back, etc., or clicks and pops, whatever. So we'll look at that later, but I just wanted to mention that when you're talking about sound and audio, Audacity is a little software that's free that you can use to learn more about sound and use it for editing your sound. But anyway, so we have the volume for the microphone. Basically, you should have, let's see, on the front, you could have your volume for your microphone, for your speaker. So your headphones will connect into a slot usually, and then you can listen to the sound of your microphone and what you're saying in terms of what the quality is. And also you can, of course, listen through your headphones, or you can turn on the speaker and listen it through your computer, obviously, to this quality of your sound. So on the front, there should be a mute button, which flashes when you're muting, and it's a steady red glow when you're recording, and so that tells you that it's on. Whereas when it's muted, it flashes, and then of course when the microphone is off, it's also off. So it's good to check, because many times I've had it off when I should have had it on, or muted when I should have had it recording, and right now it's steady recording, so I assume it's connecting my sound. And the Blue Yeti has really been good for me. I've had it for several years, and I've really not had to do any volume changes in terms of once I do a recording. I'm quite happy with the quality of it. And so what we're going to talk about in depth about is the back of the Blue Yeti. Now, of course, your Yeti, if you do get a Yeti, your Yeti may be different. That's the thing with the Blue Yeti. They change so quickly. So we're going to look at basically gain. What is it? Well, gain is the volume, is the actual loudness of the output on the channel. So it controls the loudness, but not the tone of the audio. So gain is the loudness of the input on the channel. And so you could have a button like that mentioning gain on your microphone. And so that's always good. And so let's have a look at some of the other things that you might have on your microphone. So you really have to do some recordings and test your microphone when you get it to see what you like the best. In terms of gain, it is always in the same position. It's best once you get one that you're happy with. And you're in a studio and the microphone's close to your voice, so you can probably get it so it's pretty low. But until you try and test it, you won't really be able to tell what settings you want for that. So let's go over other things that you can have maybe as choices on your stereo microphone. So I've got a picture of it here. So as you can see on the back of the microphone, there was the gain. And so you set that to the setting that you like, and hopefully you don't change it at all. But you can change the pattern of what the sound that comes into your microphone, and we'll talk about what the differences are on the settings. Okay, so basically, so the one on the, well, for this one, the one on the left, which has two circles intersecting, that's the stereo mode. And so it's multi-purpose. It's good for lots of different types of recordings. If you're not sure what mode you need to record in, then you can just put it on stereo mode and try it out and put it in a recording and see if you like it or not. Basically, you can test all of these, really. But the next one is omnidirectional. So it's a complete circle symbol on the microphone, and the blue Yeti will actually capture audio from a 300-degree angle all around the microphone. So it's useful when, let's say, you want to record a conference and you can have various people speaking around the table, and you can actually capture their voices, because this actually tries to catch the sound of their voice from wherever they're sitting or whatever sounds there are in the space around it. And you can hear most of what people are saying, even if they're sitting around a table. So it's good for if you're doing an interview, and it's good for conferences, and if you want to record in any direction. Now, in a studio setting such as this, I don't think it'll work for you, because you don't want to catch the sounds of the computer or the sounds of a door closing or any clocks or whatever else in the room. So it's best not to use omnidirectional if you're trying just to do a screencasting or recording for a video or broadcasting like this. So the third one is cardio, and it gives the best quality of audio. It's sort of a, what is that? It's sort of a, I don't know, sort of a little bleepy thing. The symbol. It's meant for podcasting or for recording voiceovers, and it will only be recording the audio from right in front of the microphone, right above where obviously the mute button is. So if you switch it to cardio mode and you speak right in front of the microphone, you do well. But if you speak from behind the microphone, it's very weak. So you want to be able nice and close at a standard distance away from your microphone. And if you're doing screencast, I would recommend using the cardio mode, because it gives the richest quality of audio. But of course you can't really tell until you've set up your studio and done a little quick recording and see if you like the sound. So the next and last option is bidirectional. So it's similar to cardio and stereo, but it strictly captures audio only from the front and the back. And this is useful if, for example, you're doing an interview and the other person is sitting in front of you, so that the back of the microphone as well as the front of the microphone is capturing the voices. And so you can place the Blue Yeti right in the middle, and it'll capture both the audio of you and the audio of the person you're interviewing. If there are people on the left and right, technically speaking, it wouldn't be capturing their audio, but you can always see if it does or not. So it might be better to use omnidirectional for if you're doing something like that. So it's going to be pretty noisy if you're trying to capture all four directions, so it's probably best not to do that. Use the omnidirectional. So as you can see on this Blue Yeti, there's 4 choices, 4 patterns that you can use, and it's kind of difficult to show you the difference because it all depends on your own studio environment. But I'd recommend either trying the stereo or the cardio pattern, and of course you're going to have to check your gain and see which you like the most. I've been trying to do it quite a bit. I haven't really found the one that I really like yet. When I do, I mark it on the microphone, so I always get back to that setting. So maybe we can talk about gain more later when we talk about Audacity, because at this point we're going to talk about your sound and making it best in terms of the microphone. So there's an idea on some of the settings that you can use on your microphone. Let's have a look at this other video thing. I don't know why I have that. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you don't see it on the last picture, I wrote the names down on the slide so that you can write those down and you can check and see if your microphone has any of those. Now, I think in terms of microphones now, I haven't really had a look, but they change so quickly that they probably don't have all these choices. They probably just make it either it's for podcasting, so it's what is it, cardioid, and you know, that kind of thing. They made it simpler for people to use. So those are some ideas on the Blue Yeti and any stereo microphone that has a USB connection. They are basically a good, I like them. I haven't looked up the price recently, but it's a pretty good microphone. And there we go. So yeah, that's basically all I was going to talk about today. And next time, maybe we'll do the software Audacity and how to, I'll have to figure out how I can do that live and not blow you out with the sound of the microphone because well, anyway, you don't want too bad of a recording in terms of what you're going to edit, but I think it'd be worth showing how you can make some adjustments to your sound in a recording that you have of your video. So that would probably be good to have a look at the software Audacity, and just to remind you that what gain is, and it's basically just the volume that your microphone is capturing. And so if you know it's too loud or it's too low, that means you're going to have to adjust it in the Audacity software. So that's, you know, that's more work. So you want to try and get it the best you can get in Audacity. Well, no, you want to get it the best in your microphone, and then you can also, of course, not have to adjust it and save some time. So I just forgot to put this up, so let's put that up. Basically I do have a book. You can, if you join the list at https://jane. I guess I better go back to my presentation. So this is XSplit, by the way, if you're impressed by how quickly I go between scenes. We'll be talking about that later. Or I should be doing a course on it, really. And I have https://jane-gardner.com/live, and we have you'll get that book to have a look at. It tells you about the 7 steps to produce your first show, about your studio setup, some recommended software, some recommended things for editing, some ideas for what you should have on your show, and obviously it would be a show that is broadcast live or not. And yeah, you can join to get it at jane-gardner.com/live. And as well, I've got some good stuff lately. Oh, I've got a book. I think it's Video Marketing for Non-Technicals. I've got to get that in there, as well as I have some checklists on lights and also on this, I think on sound, and I'll have to look at setup for your studio. Quick checklist for your studio to get. So yeah, you can send any questions, or you can do any questions. Thank you for coming. I'm not sure. I've got to get back to work. So I will get on with it. I hope that was useful to find out about what those settings mean on the microphone. And yeah, maybe next time you can ask me some questions. That would be great. See you later.
Recording stopped.